Good afternoon, children. Welcome to online class, first language, English, 9th standard. First lesson. The best advice I ever had. Written by Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. Here, that is the warm-up activity. Now we have to identify the following great personalities. 6 photos are given. The first one is Sarojini Naidu. The second one, Srimati Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. Third one, Srimati Indira Gandhi. Fourth one, Justice M. Fatima Bibi. Fifth one, Srimati Pratibha Patil. And sixth one, Mrs. Kiran Bedi. So the answer for these clues, you have to answer. That is, write the names of the personalities in column B. The first woman president of UN General Assembly, that is Srimati Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. The first woman judge of the Supreme Court of India, so Justice M. Fatima Bibi. The first woman IPS officer of India, Srimati Kiran Bedi. The first woman president of India, Srimati Pratibha Patil. The first woman Prime Minister of India, Srimati Indira Gandhi. The first woman governor in India, Srimati Sarojini Naidu. Now, so this is the picture of Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. And even here, that is Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, one of the brothers, one of the sisters of Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru. Now, so that's why here, the lesson given below is an article written by Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, one of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's sisters. She wrote it for the Reader's Digest. It's a monthly magazine when she was the High Commissioner for India in the United Kingdom. So this is the magazine, Reader's Digest. See here, you can see that is the best advice I ever had. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit article, you can see, page number they are given 26. And see the March 2018. Special collector's editions. That is they given again. Now, coming to the lesson, the best advice I ever had came from one of the greatest souls the world had ever known, Mahatma Gandhi, on a sunny afternoon a decade ago. That is the article she wrote, that is 10 years before only. She had, that is the best advice from whom? From the world famous Mahatma Gandhi, when on a sunny afternoon. Most people pass through a period of anguish when their belief in humanity is at a low ebb. I was in such a period. My husband had recently died. My deep sorrow over his loss was followed by the humiliating realization that in the eyes of Indian law, I had no individual existence. Along with the other Indian women, I had participated for years with men in the national struggle for freedom, working and suffering side by side with them until it had finally been achieved. Yet, in law, we women were still recognized only through our relationship to men. She had a period of anguish. Anguish means what? Strain. When that is, she started thinking of what humanity, it has gone to lower because no humanity is there. She went to that level thinking. It was she was in such a period because she lost her husband, and again before she could come out of that sorrow. Again, she had done another realization, that is humiliating realization, that is in Indian law, according to the Indian law, her presence was not realized. That is along with the other Indian women, because, and she was not given importance for what? In property affairs. That is, she had taken part in all freedom struggle till we won the freedom with men, working with men side by side. But even then, she was not recognized. She was recognized only through her relationship to men. That is, she lost her husband, so she lost her hold in getting property. Next, third para is telling, now as a widow, without a son, I was not entitled to any share of the family property, nor were my two daughters. I resented this galling position. I was bitter towards those members of my family who supported this antiquated law. So this law in India was very, very ancient. Antiquated means in those days, the ladies are not given any share in the property. That is, now she became widow. Not only that, she had no son. She had only two daughters. So that's why she was in an annoying position. That is, even her family members also followed that antiquated law. That law which is telling no share in for ladies in property, in parents' property. At this time, I went to pay my respects to Gandhiji and say goodbye before leaving for America to take part in a conference. After our talk, he asked, have you made your peace with your relatives? I was amazed that he would take sides against me. I have not quarreled with anyone, I replied, but I refuse to have anything to do with those who take advantage of an outworn law to create a difficult and humiliating situation for me. So that is, before going to America, she had to go to America to take part in a conference. So then before going to America, she went to meet Gandhiji to pay her respects. Then after they are talking, then what happened? Gandhiji asked her, then have you made peace with your relatives? And she was surprised to hear that, because he not only asked her, but he started advising her only. That is, she told her, no, I have not quarreled with anyone, but even though I don't want to take advantage, that is, what was the outward law, that is no share for ladies in the property. So that is very difficult, humiliating situation for me. But Gandhiji replied, he looked out of the window for a moment. Then he turned to me and smiled and said, you will go and say goodbye, because courtesy and decency demand this. In India, we still attach importance to these things. So what Gandhiji was looking through the window, then he was telling Vijayalakshmi Pandit, see, you have to go and say goodbye. Where? To whom? To your relatives before going to America. Because in India, what is important? Courtesy and decency, they are all very important. Still, we are having that etiquette, that importance, that carry importance to these things. Then Vijay, no, I declared, not even to please you. I will go to those who wish to harm me. Not even to please you will I go to those who wish to harm me. She said, rejected Gandhi's advice. She said, I won't go. Even to please you also, I won't go to see them, those who harmed me. Why they harmed? Because they did not give share in a property and they were following the antiquated law. Then Gandhi said, no one can harm you except yourself. He said, still smiling. I see enough bitterness in your heart to cause you injury unless you check it. So what Gandhiji told, no one can harm you. Only you can harm yourself only. See the bitterness in your heart because you are refusing to meet your relatives before going to America. So you have to check it. Otherwise it will cause you injury. What causes that is a bitterness will cause injury to her. I remained silent and he continued, you are going to a new country because you are unhappy and want to escape. Can you escape from yourself? Will you find happiness outside when there is bitterness in your heart? Think it over. Be a little humble. You have lost a loved one. That's sorrow enough. Must you inflict further injury on yourself because you lack courage to cleanse your own heart? Gandhiji said, then you are going to America. Why? The reason, because you want to escape from your relatives. Then you can't find happiness outside when you have got bitterness in your heart. So that's what he's telling. You should be humble. Then he advised her to go and meet relatives to go before going to America. Otherwise, what happened? Then it will cause her injury, and she should have courage. That is to face them. Otherwise, what he said, she lacked courage to cleanse her heart. His words would not leave me. It was ringing. They gave me no peace. After some days of severe struggle with myself, I finally telephoned my brother-in-law. I would like to see you and the family, I said, before leaving. So immediately, because Gandhiji's words are ringing in her ears, and it forced all his words, forced her then to make up her mind to meet her relatives before going to America. So she called them over phone and they said she wanted to meet before and family before leaving. Then 10th para is telling, I hadn't been with them 5 minutes before I sensed that my visit had brought a feeling of relief to everyone. I told them of my plans and asked for their good wishes before starting on this new stage of my life. The efforts on me was miraculous. I felt as if a great burden had been lifted and I was free to be myself. So when she went to meet her relatives, within 5 minutes she could feel the change in her and also how it brought that is some change in that atmosphere only among the relatives also. So that is it was a new for her, new stage of my life. So what was the effect? It was miraculous. And she felt that after meeting her relatives, after talking with them, she felt a lot of a very, very big burden had been reduced. That is from her. Then she felt that she was very free. The next 11th para, this small gesture was the beginning of a significant change in me. A year and a half later, I was in New York as a leader of the Indian delegation to the United Nations. Important to us was India's complaint regarding the treatment of people of Indian origin in South Africa. Harsh things were said by both sides. I resented the manner in which my opponents made personal attacks harmful to India's prestige and to mine. I struck back with the same sharp weapon. So that is second day. This first incident, that is the beginning because it brought some change. The what is Gandhiji said. Then she responded. She met her relatives, and now she became free. So like that. So next one, she had another incident. That is a year and a half later. Then she was in New York. Why she went as a leader of the Indian delegation to where? To the United Nations. What is important? Why she went there? That is, there was a complaint regarding whom? The treatment of the Indian origin. The Indian origin, that is in where? In South Africa. So they were ill-treated. So that's what she went to talk in favor of the Indians. So harsh things are said by both sides. So when they're debating, her opponents, then they talked, they resented in a manner in which my opponents made personal attack harmful to India's prestige and to mine. And they personally attacked our country as well as then like our country and as well as her also. I struck back with the same sharp weapon. She also replied this against them. But before getting, that is, before getting the things worst, then what happened? Then she tried to avoid and remembered Gandhi's words. Then after a distressing duel of words, I suddenly thought of Gandhiji. Would he approve? To him means were as important as the end in the long run. Perhaps more important, what if we succeeded in getting our resolution passed by questionable tactics that injured our self-respect? So she suddenly remembered Gandhiji. That is, then she that is talking harshly the opponents. So that means that is important. It is not that important. We should pass our resolution, but that is we should see our self-respect also. It should not be harmed. So you should maintain our self-respect. It is not a big thing. Then it is not a good. That is a resolution getting passed by injuring our self-respect. That's what then she thought. And before going to bed that night, she resolved that come what might, no word of mine would be lightly used in the UN. From then on, I lifted the debate because to where it belonged, refusing to retaliate to personal attacks or to score a cheap point. Our opponents met us on the new level, and from then we argued the case on its merits. So what happened? So when that day that night, that when she was going to bed, what she thought, she brought all the scene that what all happened in the in the that is New York office. So what she thought that is it is she thought that we should she resolved that whatever it may be, because whether it is a success or failure, because she came forward to fight for the right of the Indian people. That is in South Indian origin, that is South Africa. So she refused to retaliate. She refused to answer back, then answer the personal attacks also. And she didn't want to score a cheap point also. So what then? They started talking in a new level. That is in a respective manner. They argued each other. That is that case on its merits. The next 14th one, before leaving the committee room the last day, I went up and spoke to the leader of the opposing delegation. So who opposed her? That is India, our country, and her personally. Then I have come to ask you, forgive me if I have hurt you by any word or action in this debate. So finally, when she was leaving the committee, what she did, then she went and asked, that is forgiveness. That is from whom? From the opponent. For asking, for talking all then some words that is which would have hurt the people. He shook my hand warmly and said, I have no complaint. So he also, the opponent leader also then said he had no complaint. And it was good to feel right with him, but even better to feel right with myself. Now she felt relieved. Once more, Gandhiji's advice had saved me from myself. So the second time, Gandhiji's words are saved. And his words have helped me retain perspective even in small matters. Many women I imagine share with me a recurring nightmare. Someone important to you is coming to dine. The guests are arrived. It is time to eat, but there is no dinner. You wake, perspiring, relieved to find it is only a dream. So what happens? The same again. Then second time, then Gandhi's words saved her. The same thing, like other women also, they also experience the same thing because when you are feeling somebody, then they're coming for dinner, and that is ready to eat. But what happened? That if there is a nothing means how you will behave. That is perspiring. So that was a only to find relieved when you are dreaming means after the dream how you will feel relieved. That's what the she felt. That is after following Gandhiji's words and treating the incidents that is happening to her. But recently, it really happened to me. Now she was dreaming like this only, but it really happened to her. My guest of honor, the Prime Minister of Great Britain and Lady Eden. See this? Lady Eden. And here he is the Prime Minister of Great Britain. And could hardly have been more important to me. High Commissioner for India in the United Kingdom. Because she was the High Commissioner of that is representing India, where in the United Kingdom, and she had arranged one dinner. She had planned everything meticulously, and from the menu to the color scheme of the flowers and the candles, because they are all official. So what she did, she planned everything. Then that is from the flower color to the candle color and the table setup, everything. Now she planned that. And when the guests had arrived and drinks had been passed twice, I signaled the butler to announce the dinner. But still we waited when for the third time drinks came round. That is, I excused myself and ran downstairs to the kitchen. So what happened? So there in dinner, no, foreigners, they have first the drink, they serve drinks. So first time, that is to get ready for the dinner. That is a custom before taking any dinner. No, they go around. That is having some drinks. But here, drinks, everything is over. And this third time also that is it happened. Third time also the dinner, that is drinks was served, but she was waiting because Vijayalakshmi Pandit was waiting for the cook, that is to serve the food. So that but he didn't come. So she asked excuse and then she ran downstairs because kitchen was in the downstairs, and then there what she saw, it presented a shocking sight. In one corner stood a frightened little kitchen maid. In another, the housekeeper. At the table sat my cook, waving a ladle and singing, beating time with his foot. His eyes were glazed, and he was far away in some other sphere. The table was littered with the pieces of a chicken. My knees felt too weak to support me, but I asked in as normal the voice as I could command, "Why isn't the dinner ready?" Then then she went to see what happened because the dinner was not served. Because all high officials, then they are all waiting for the dinner then to be served. So she ran to the kitchen down, which was downstairs. There, what when she went to the kitchen, what she saw little maid and that is standing, kitchen maid standing, and another housekeeper. And where was the cook? The cook was then waving a ladle. Ladle means then a wooden spoon. Then singing was singing, then beating the with his foot. So he was in a hilarious mood, and his eyes were glazed. He was far away. That means he had a drunk. And the table, what happened? You can see all the pieces of chicken. And mine is now how she felt to say the guests are come. That is Prime Minister and the First Lady. So what they would feel. So she was feeling as if very weak. And so she thought, why isn't the dinner ready? She asked. But it is ready, madam. My cook chanted, all ready. Everybody sit down like that. Then I was furious. I was on the tip of my tongue to say, get out. You are dismissed. When I thought of the counsel that had calmed me so many times, if I lost control, I would only hurt myself. So what a Vijayalakshmi Pandit. She got wild on seeing this scene. That is why? Because the cook didn't prepare anything for dinner. Everything was scattered on the table. So she got wild and she thought of shouting at him. That is, get out, you are dismissed. But immediately she remembered Gandhi's words. If I lost control, I would only hurt myself. I pulled myself together. She came to conscious. Let us get something on the table, I said. And simply she said to the cook, bring something and serve on the table. Everyone pitched in. The food served wasn't quite what the menu described. But when I told my guest what had happened, there was a chorus of surprise. If this is what your cook gives you when he is drunk, someone exclaimed, what must he provide us sober? So that's what now everything is served. The food was because they planned the menu something that was happened that was not served on the table. But anyhow, she openly told the guests what had happened in the kitchen, and but they surprised to hear if your cook can prepare this much that when he is drunk, then how nice he would prepare if he is in a good mood, sober. The relief in my laughter must have sounded a little hysterical because Vijayalakshmi Pandit felt relieved when they told like that. My perspective restored and realized that a dinner party, however important, is not the pivot of existence. So what happened? Somehow she managed. the situation that because Gandhi had an advisor, because Gandhi had an advisor, because Gandhi had an advisor, then that is to Gandhi had advised that is to be humble and then to be simple, not to become violent, not to hurt self. To retain a sense of proportion is an important and being able to keep one's heart free from hatred. So what happened? You should not feel hatred. If anything goes wrong also, then you have to keep quiet. For all of us, no matter what our work. The advice Gandhiji gave me is meaningful. No one can harm you but yourself. Then that's what she remembered Gandhiji's words. No one can harm you. Others cannot harm you unless until we harm ourselves only. So that what we should do, whenever we get angry, we should not lose our temper. So she maintained this and she followed Gandhi's advice so that she came out of that situation.